technologies are growing, accelerating, and it's adding real world value. I do understand that it comes with these drawbacks of the price points, and it's still not seeped into industries. But as a nation, as institutes, shouldn't we be a step ahead and leverage these tools and technologies? Because you mentioned that there are some people who are leveraging it in education, healthcare. uh, there are so many companies who are leveraging for gaming and entertainment, obviously, but then there is a lot of companies who are leveraging it for work. In fact, I think Accenture bought 60,000 virtual reality headset, and there's this company called I'm not getting the name, but they don't have a physical office. They've got 30,000 people workforce, and all of them being given virtual reality headset, so they do not have to travel. They connect with their customers, or through their virtual reality devices, and they create businesses like that. So there's, you save on your logistics and stuff like that. Going back to my earlier question, was, is the we are we transitioning from 2D to virtual reality games? In that, are we transitioning from or 2D mediums into the virtual reality? Do you see that happening, or do you think governments and institutions should look into that? Do you see that as the future, or do you think that it's something which is uh,
Let me answer you in a very straightforward way. To be very honest, in 2019, starting, we actually converted ourselves into completely a remote network office. That process we started in 2018. The only solo reason was I was recruiting lot many people from out of India. And as a strategical structure, if you recruit that many number of people who are from various different part of the world, it was very, very difficult for me to open offices in each and every part of the world. It's just increasing the logistics and the admin cost. So what we did, we moved from a normal usual office to a complete virtual office in 2018, and the successful implementation finished in 2019. So what happened when COVID started? Before that, we were completely digital. We really didn't, wanted to have any kind of physical office. But then when COVID hit every one of us, we were never affected. The only solo reason was probably we have seen the future which is going to come. And trust me on this is going to take some amount of time for companies to understand. But in few cases, like who are into heavy industries, who are mainly into manufacturing, or the small scale MSMEs, they cannot move themselves completely into digital. They cannot. How do you convert a cloth manufacturing unit, which is a very small unit, into a VR office zone? You can probably work only the admin part of it, but not the manufacturing part. But if we talk about technological companies, yes, 100% the future is this. So if people are trying to evolve themselves from 2D to the VR world, or rather we would say probably the next generation world, yes, that's the future. Now, coming back to your another discussion point, which you asked me probably earlier, that how exactly the transition is happening and how fast this is happening. To be very honest, in India, it's happening. I shouldn't say it's that fast as Southeast Asia or Europe or US, but people are adopting new technologies, people are accepting it, and people are more inclined towards going digital, and that's happening. So if
right?
we look at the future, yes, this is a very, very win-win situation for all of us.
Right. So you said compared to Southeast Asia, maybe you're pointing out to South Korea and China. Yes, obviously they in fact China, I think, has a plan for 2030, where they've created a plan where they want to lead in virtual reality, because they do understand the importance of virtual reality. In fact, I mean, just last year, the end of 2021, Facebook rebranded as Meta, and there was this huge hype around metaverse. The reason I think the Facebook, which has been a social media company, is completely moving to virtual reality is because there is a huge opportunity, or a humongous opportunity which is gonna open up in the next few years. Because earlier, people were talking about digitization, but the adoption was not there. But because of COVID, I think we've been thrusted into the digital world, and I think everybody understands the importance of digitization. In fact, my son, who's 6.5 years old, he was in obviously like a physical school, but then the school is still not functioning. It's still stopped. It's still shut. So we moved him onto online school. Now the online school, when we moved him onto an online school, I understood the difference. We were paying 3.5 lakh fees for my son's school in Bombay, and then we moved on to the school called 21K, and they are charging 56,000 rupees. It's the same curriculum. They offer almost the same thing. The only thing is it's digital. So, at least for people like me, working class people, we see huge benefits of this. So, I don't know whether this would add value post the COVID, but we've still not gotten over COVID. Then there's this Omicron, and we are still shut. Where do you see this thing going? You mentioned that it's south, maybe the Southeast Asia, and China, and all those countries which are still possibly maybe really leveraging AR VR in a big way. Do you see that in India, or do you think that the Indian government should do more for creating an ecosystem that is more solid and sustainable for AR, VR, MR? Do you think that that's lacking over here in India?
See, Eddie, nothing is lacking, to be very honest. Uh, the main factor that we need to understand, the world is actually moving in a complete different scale altogether. The strategic movement of changing the company name and the business structure for Facebook towards metaverse is because they have Oculus, right? So as a company, as a business, they have to push their consumers into this virtual reality platform. It's a complete strategic movement from them
Fair
that
enough.
to push people to go towards Oculus, so that people buy more and more VR devices, which is needed. Some big shots should push this in a big way so that consumers would go towards buying more and more hardware. Now, when I made this statement, if I look at India, India has got, with calculation, 1.3 billion number of our so-called Indians, right? And within this huge number of population, probably 15% to 20% would be more than interested to buy such kind of devices. And that's a huge number. If you calculate 15%, forget 15%, 10% of 1.3 billion population, that's a big number. So the strategic signing of Facebook entering into India as a digital India is huge. So as a company, they will get great number of audience, which will have much more impact and which will push eventually the industry to enter into so-called metaverse. So if you want to sell a dress, you need to go digital. You have to convert all your dresses into 3D virtual reality platform so that a person can wear a VR glass and then go into that particular VR world and choose a dress, try it on a normal trial, look that whether it fits or not, and go for a physical order. And you are right. If you look at in today's or maybe a future perspective of hardware, I've seen such kind of hardware in China long back in 2017, wherein they were converting the normal glass into a normal augmented reality glasses. And look at us, now we have got those kind of glasses in our hand, right? So the future, if we look at, it's going to be completely different than what you are watching at the moment. So I usually tell a real life situation, or rather a future situation. I did that in a couple of other speech of mine. I will give you that story to you as well. Imagine a situation that you are a normal white collar job oriented guy, or maybe an entrepreneur. You are driving back your home, and your AR glass, which you're wearing, it knows each and every part of your movement, and it understands you. 5 o'clock, it knows that you usually have your espresso double shot. And when you are driving, it will ask you whether you are hungry, whether you need your usual coffee or not. You nod your head, or you give your acceptance with your maybe blink of your eyes, or you say yes with voice command. It can detect three different layers of your inputs, right? It can be a gesture, it can be a voice command, it can be something different, right? Once you say yes, it will find automatically the nearby coffee shop and place your order. You go there, you drive in, you just have your coffee, you drive away. What happened in the background? In today's world, these AR glasses are connected with decentralized system utilizing blockchain, and that is connected with your bank. So your payment is already done. Now that payment can be done in two different ways. Either you pay in crypto, or you pay in normal usual dollars, or it can be your money as well. That's the future that we are heading to. So if you look at the future, the phone, the very existence of phone, will eventually have power like your computer. I'm not comparing computers which we use for VFX creation or development purpose. I'm talking about usual normal PC or laptop, which is being used by maybe a C-level employee just to work on the office package and few bit of little bit of graphic software. I'm talking about such kind of laptops and PC, which will be translated and is translating into smartphones, and will be translated into smart watches, and eventually in future we'll have a holographic projection utilizing simple camera through which you can work on the space. And I'm not talking about Iron Man stories. That's happening. Developments are happening, implementations are actually going through. It's just a matter of time. Within a couple of years, you will see those devices in the market. And people have to adopt such kind of devices. Otherwise, as a policy, as a structure, if you look at technological innovation, if you look at implementation of NFTs, if you are looking at the entire metaverse as an ecosystem, or if you're looking at social media, the way it is evolving, it is more going towards your personal brand building. It is more going towards your personal company's structure building, and asking others to come to those platforms and do the trading. And when you do international trade, you need to understand people. It's not easy. Trust me on this. When you are interacting with maybe a person from Vietnam, your interaction level with that gentleman or that lady will be completely different if you're talking to a Filipino, will be different from the person who is from Germany, will be different who is from Italy. Until unless you understand people, doing and trading international business is a challenge. And what is the best way if you have a platform wherein you are in 3D avatar, you can handshake with each other, you can probably toast with each other, you can probably talk to each other, interact in a 3D platform and understand each other just like physical world. And that's the world that we are talking about. Adoption, trust me, is gonna take some time. India is always in a way of saying like is always a verge of accepting things very fast, but adoption of new technology sometimes takes time. One of the solo reason is, if we look at Indian technological innovation, we are amazing in software, if we talk about software. But when we talk about our own hardware, probably it's the right time to come with our own smartphone manufacturing unit, maybe an Indian brand, which can make a disruption. We need probably AR glass manufacturing company, not only Reliance, we need much more companies who can come up with such kind of small innovative devices. We need devices like probably for disabled people. We need devices for people who can probably, who can't speak, who can't walk. So these are the bigger markets, right? So I am actually invested in one company who produces hovercraft drones in USA. And you may say that, why do you need a hovercraft drone? Well, think and imagine of people who can't walk, whose hands are not working, only they can speak. So this hovercraft can actually follow them. Hovercrafting is not waving here and there. It's just placing your phone in a complete direction, right? Hovercrafting is not that easy. It's not flying. Hovercrafting and flying are different physics-wise, right? And when you do the patented voice command interaction, these phones are actually interacting with lot many other aspects in the background. That's the future that we are talking about. So think and imagine of those audiences which probably we are not targeting at all. We are just thinking gaming is all about kids play. I differ a lot. I differ a lot. Probably you and me, we know lot many industry people who are using gaming as a technology to solve industrial problem. So we are not talking about gameplay as a casual gameplay. No, we are talking about basically the technology part of it, which can be integrated either in VR or in XR or probably in augmented reality, or maybe connecting the AI with the machine learning and then implementing that through a blockchain platform, and the device is probably a VR device. In today's world, we call all these things as a deep tech technology. Everything is interconnected. Until unless we interconnect with these technologies and talk to them, it's not going to be very cozy to give a groundbreaking solution, at least from India. That's my perspective.
Lovely. Yeah, completely. So, yes, I do understand because I think for the longest time we have undermined gaming or entertainment. I think we are getting into the world where we gamifying everything, right from your education to work to training, and people are understanding the opportunity it presents, the gamification of everything. And you, I think you gave a far out distant future of what the metaverse is going to look like. Yes, we go getting into a world where it's completely going to be digitized. There could be an AR glasses which could sit on a decentralized platform. I mean, the metaverse itself is supposed to be decentralized, because when Tim Berners-Lee designed the World Wide Web, it was supposed to be a decentralized platform, but right now it's a wall garden hidden behind paywalls. So I think we are living in an exciting space. And I guess going back to my earlier question, because these technologies are going to create humongous opportunity. It's going to create a huge economical benefit, and as a country, I feel we should be right there in the front line rather than playing a wait and watch game. So I'm hitting it back to the home when I asked you the question, where does India stand? Does the Indian government need to take more proactive decisions into supporting the AR/VR ecosystem? And as an investor, you, where do you stand? Would you be, are you investing in AR/VR startups? Do you have plans in supporting the AR/VR ecosystem?
Eddie, I will go with the second question first. The answer is yes. I am investing into AR/VR, and I am actually already invested in three different startups. Although they are not from India, maybe a lot many of your audience will not like my words, but in India, the main challenge is when they pitch, their pitch deck is not ready. Okay, it's not about raising funds. It's about basically marrying another person whom you don't know. And when the investor invests their money, it's their own hard-earned money. And we need our return back, and we need to have a confidence level on you that, okay, fine, this handshaking can be win-win for both of us, right? And when an investor invests, it's not about only the money, it's about making a disruption as well. So until unless a startup understands it's not about a one-person company, that investment may not happen, to be very honest, as a strategic investment. But preferably, if you have a CEO and a CTO and the founder, three are different person in the team. That's one of the best team that probably one can think of investing in a deep tech technology company, right? I will define you why. As a founder, sometimes we love our business as our own baby, which is true, which is fine. There is no question about it. I mean, that should be, the founder should be like this. Okay. But sometimes they cannot take hard decisions. Sometimes they are techie. Sometimes they are artists. Sometimes they are so innovative that they don't need to think about the business. Agreed, right? But they need someone who talk business, who understand business, and who can make money within the company. That's your CEO. That's a post, right? So as a startup, if you feel that you need someone, please get someone on board. Sometimes you need to deliberate your work for technological aspect only, and you need someone who is there as a CTO in your company. In 70% cases, people are raising money, but after that, these companies are dying. As a statistics, if you look at, as much as investment that happened in India or in the world, 60 to 70% cases, these startups didn't sustain. The solo reason is not about only investment, not about only the startup, it's the business structure that they have. Somehow they got an investor, somehow the investor invest money, it's not success. If you get the investment, that means your journey starts from that very moment. The fun factories and the fear factories, here we celebrate investments. We are not celebrating who is doing amazing, probably with or without getting investment. Once we start celebrating that, our country's perception will be changed. Now, coming back to your question regarding government, government has declared multiple layers of funds. Now, when I said in my introduction that I'm one of the jury member for our Startup India Award, Startup India was not there earlier. Come on, we need to appreciate that, right? It's happening only for last 4 years. Thousands of startups are applying. From there, we are selecting hundreds of them. From there, we are selecting top people so that we can give them a little bit of grant and give them an option to ease of doing business, connecting them with multiple number of accelerators so that they can grow. So these things are happening. If you look at the world economy, the world market, if you look at democratic countries, you need to understand politics on this. You can't say just government should do, okay? If you are a country run by a king, the king can take all the decisions. There you can say government will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in a democratic country like us, we need to understand governments can give us a platform, the good policy, and ease of doing business. Getting funds, doing business, and growth of the company should be upon us as entrepreneurs. Their ecosystem like you, Eddie, who thought to start India's first podcast on XR, plays a great role. In that place, ecosystem like us, World Leader Summit, who brought in 95 countries together with multiple different decision makers and bureaucrats in one common platform with technologies, with players, plays a vital role. Why do you feel why we floated our own accelerator? What was the reason? I was doing happy with my angel syndicate. I was doing happy with my investment, with my companies, whatever investments I have done. By God grace, everything is a success case apart from only one failure case. Okay. I was too early for the Indian market. I launched India's first cosplay portal, which was cosplayseller.com. It failed because I was too early for the market and I didn't sustain in that market that time. It was too early, like 15 years back or probably 12 years back, if I'm not wrong, right? But as a strategy, if you look at us, we are trying to give a platform for all those newcomers without ego, without thoughts, without talking things in the back, who is doing what. We are just giving them, okay, come, let's join hands together and let's see how we can grow together. I think that's needed. And that's happening in India, which is beautiful, which is absolutely beautiful, Eddie. And I have complete positive thoughts that the future generation will take the lead and take it forward like anything. I know, I think 6, 7 of those youngsters from India. I don't know lot many of student indie game studio owners, but I know Yash. I know Yasharka. He's from Calcutta. I know Kushal. He's from Delhi. I know another great guy. I'm keep forgetting their name. I think Bhanu, and then Tanuja, and then a couple of others. I know these kids who started their journey at the age of 9, at the age of 10. Somebody is at the age of 15. So they started their indie studio, started making money. What do we need? We have these kind of people. We should cherish them. We should give them a platform instead of saying that, okay, fine, let us become your mentor. They don't need mentor. They just need the market connect. Let them grow. A kid's mindset, if we guide them with our own experience and skill, is fine. With due respect, we are all experienced people, but it's my personal opinion. Let the kid flow in their own way. Let them learn things in their own way, and let us become catalysts instead of becoming mentor, to give them the platform and the connect, maybe a little bit of order, or maybe a little bit of a job offloading to them so that they can grow. I think that's the future that we are talking about.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think you hit the point. In fact, you said something profound. That if startups can grow with or without investments, that truly will be, the success of the ecosystem. Yes, I think I should point out to you that there is some seriously awesome startups here in the country who are doing some really really cool things. In AR VR MR. Since I'm invested in AR VR MR, they are building augmented reality glasses, virtual reality glasses, and I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, maybe we'll be seeing these startups in the global stage. At least from my perspective, since I'm so vested in this in the space, is that I feel that there should be a little bit more commitment from the government to support the future tech system, because I guess the larger the venture capital and the government support goes to maybe startups who are in the space of commerce or finance, and they kind of avoid AR VR MR and deep tech because
I'll
they
tell you why. I know where you're coming from. See, sorry about the straight answer, but sometimes we need to understand from the policy making team, or probably people who are defining grants, they need to understand the bigger picture. You know, so if we look at AR VR, specifically AR VR and XR as a market, it needs a boost. I agree. It needs a boost from the government. Probably if a AR VR manufacturing company, or maybe a solution development company traveling abroad, 50% cost can be reduced by the government. Agreed. These things can be done easily. Next, taxation for these startups, if they are inventing something, should be completely wiped off. Actually, there is an option. Actually, there are government departments who are actually dealing with such kind of activity. Maybe lot many of us don't know that. But feel free to get in touch with me. I'll be more than happy to connect with right kind of person, wherein you can get all these kind of information and maybe you can achieve it. Not only in India, if you are talking about you want some kind of help and strategic movement, wherein you can access grants in Europe or in Southeast Asia or in Australia or even in USA. Feel free to connect AD, and if you feel that you have startups who need help, ask them to get in touch with me with your reference. To be very honest, I'm sure that it's going to be a live podcast for you. To be very honest, it's very difficult for me to, accept someone in social media and then understand what they're trying to say until unless it is coming from a reference. Nowadays, it's getting really, really difficult. Social media nowadays is becoming so funny that you can't understand who is who from your LinkedIn or Facebook profile. There are so many inputs where you really want to dig into, you will find it's actually nothing. They just put things up. So it's going to be my pleasure if you feel that there are startups who are doing amazing stuff, need some help, need some guidance, need some growth, need some grants, or any way I can help them with, will be more than happy to do that. That's not a problem at all.
Lovely. Thank you, Arijit. I mean, definitely, I will definitely reach out because there's so many startups who are doing so many interesting things, and my intention is to grow an ecosystem because I believe that in the next few years, AR, VR, MR is going to create and open up huge economical benefits for in India. My last question to you, which will be my first question, about AR, VR, MR, the transition. And since you are a I mean, you started as a game development company and now kind of merged out into various other things. Where do you see this future? Because there's some exciting things happening. I mean, there is Unreal Engine, which is creating photorealistic content. You have said that in the beginning of the conversation, you have digitized 300 characters, so you are uh, at the right point of time to leverage the benefits of the metaverse, or this gamification of everything. So if you had to paint a picture of what the world or India is going to look like in the next 10 years, what would you say?
Amazing. So I'll give you a very short answer. Because of time, probably I need to take a leave. But yeah, I'll give you a specific answer. Why do you feel 15 years back we started taking real actors? We recruited them, we paid them to come to the studio and started converting them into 3D characters. Probably I saw the future. That time metaverse was not there, but second life was there. And I felt that probably in future this is going to be huge when the internet bandwidth will not be a issue, right? Now think about the business, where the future goes. I'll give you a live example. I am an actor, or probably I'm a model, upcoming model, right? As a character, if I am into 3D and there are multiple brands who is utilizing my 3D avatar, that's the future we are talking about. I'll tell you why. As a human, we'll, of course, increase our age. We are not going to decrease our age, right? So I'm 40 now. I'm not going to be 35 in next 5 years. I'm going to be 45 in next 5 years. So my skin and my glory and the way I look will be completely changed. But if I look at a 3D avatar, I can do any multiple number of permutations and combinations. For a brand, if I'm popular in social media and I convert myself into a 3D character, it's easier for a brand to accept me the way I am, change my looks, change my hair, change my eyes, change my probably entire attire, and promote their brands utilizing my own 3D avatar. That goes in VFX, that goes in automotive, that goes in healthcare. Now, talking about healthcare, it's going to play a huge role for XR technology, specifically for health tech. Future is coming where you will have robots who will be doing surgery. We are watching it right now, okay? Maybe not a lot many cases, but it started, right? That's the future we are talking about. A specialist will not lose his or her job. No, no, no. Rather, he or she will be more busier utilizing this XR technology, wherein using robotic hands and heads, he can do basic surgery in a different place altogether. Say, for an example, you are a surgeon, you are sitting in US, and I'm the patient, I'm in India. You don't need to fly to me, I don't need to fly to you. Given a choice, I have the all robotic arms and the facility here in India with all those hardware and your extra technology connected with the basic decentralized technology. This surgeon, you can operate me. Say you're doing my um, eye surgery. It's complicated. Okay, let's make it simple. Probably you are going for a normal, very basic, crazy cut that I have in my hand. Okay, this you can do it utilizing such kind of technologies. And that's the future that we are going to face very soon. Another example. We have done that, so I'm giving you that example. In the aviation industry, nowadays they are using XR to train their people. In future, if they need to make new engines these can be done utilizing XR. That also happening in the Western world. So India as a country, the number of export has been increased dramatically on the organic food sector. I'm not sure how many of you know that. Okay. In 2022, the commitment that we had for next 3 years has been achieved before 3 years. Okay. And if you look at this organic sector, drones and technology and XR plays a very vital role. Why? You need to understand your land. You need to understand, say, you need to spray, okay? Drones play a very vital role. Now, through which technology you are running it? You using normal usual drones? No. Nowadays, we are using 3D technology to understand crops, to understand the entire climatic changes. Those things are a report generation tool for a farmer. So agri-tech as a platform is evolving in a complete different direction that we have to think of. So in all these cases, it's just a matter of time for an Indian startup to come up with such kind of solution and grow their business in such kind of different verticals of business instead of only sticking into the media entertainment, right? Okay, I'll give you another live example of what we did. I'll give probably an agriculture example and sports. So there is a team, a soccer ball team, wherein we converted all their characters and players into 3D. And we started selling their characters into the 3D world. What happened? Whatever money we generated, we give back to these clubs so that they can earn and they can run their club in a proper way and feed their players. Okay, it might sound a little bit of odd for if it is global audience. India, I accept. Football is more popular than cricket in the world. But in India, cricket is more popular than football. But the soccer ball players and the football players, they are all coming from the poor background. Look at the world, we can see that. Okay? Hardworking guys, blood and sweat kind of structure. They don't come from a, very, very lavish family. So food and livelihood is a challenge for them. So these kind of clubs, they need support. As a technology company, what we can do? We can give them such kind of support, a platform wherein we can probably promote them, in return, feed them. I don't call it as a CSR. I don't call it as any kind of probably helping. No, it's all about giving back whatever we are earning from our motherland to the people of motherland so that they can grow. That's how you can bring the disruption. That's how you can actually create a nation. And I'm a very small part of it, Eddie. I'm not a big shot. I'm kind of a very small dot. That's what I feel in the vast universe. So if Almighty gives all of us that power, let us join hands and grow our country instead of thinking that somebody else will do that. And I am sure people who are into game development, they are those disruptors. Example, Elon Musk. Example, of course, the founder of Apple. You all know him. He started his career into a gaming company. I'm not sure how many of you know that, right? If you look at any successful person, maximum of them, they have interacted with immersive technology company in their earlier life. Then they are emerging into complete bigger picture and a different vertical of business. I hope that answers your question.
Lovely. Thank you, Arijit. Thank you for taking time being part of the podcast. Wish you the very best. You're doing some really crazy and awesome work. Keep on doing your work, and may you get more success. And I guess the last note you mentioned that there's need for us to join hands, and because when we join hands, we can do so much more. And on that note, to my listeners, if you like what you see in here, please press the subscribe button. Until next time, see you guys. Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you, Arijit.
Thank you.